You guys, didn't Uncle John the Liquidator tell you Sophie was going to become a target? And that's exactly what we're getting going on right now. The Indiana Fever currently playing the Chicago Sky. They're not beating them bad, but they're still in the game right now. Now, I do want to let you guys know, we will be making a video at the conclusion of this basketball game. But we have to talk about this situation involving Sophie Cunningham and DiJonai Carrington. If you guys have not heard the news, sync the place. I got sideline footage. Shout out to my homeboy John Root. He done been to a lot of games, bro. Dinner every one for the drama. And he got him some tea today.
The impact was so loud, you could hear it in the back row of the arena. Sophie Cunningham went up for what should have been a routine layup, but DiJonai Carrington had other plans, delivering a brutal clothesline that looked more like a professional wrestling move than a basketball play. The stadium went dead silent for a split second before the chaos erupted. This wasn't just a hard foul, it was a statement. Sophie didn't just hit the floor, she bounced back up with a look in her eyes that told everyone the game was officially over, and the fight had just begun.
A lot of games, bro. Dinner every one for the drama. And he got him some tea today because he took and got a sideline coverage of the play that happened. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the tribe, like the video, hype the video. We got everybody talking about this DiJonai Carrington incident. This is breaking news if you guys have not seen this. So this right here is the play that went down. This Indiana Fever game. Sophie Cunningham goes up for a layup. DiJonai Carrington clocks her right in the face.
Face coming down, trying to prevent the layup.
Sophie Cunningham is not the one to play with, and she made that clear the moment she found her feet. While most players would be checking for a concussion after a hit like that, Sophie was ready to throw hands right then and there. She has that Missouri toughness that you just can't coach, often called the show me state mentality. She was ready to show DiJonai exactly what happens when you cross the line. The tension had been building for weeks around the Indiana Fever, but this moment was the absolute breaking point for the team and the fans.
Sophie Cunningham goes up for a layup. DiJonai Carrington clocks her right in the face.
Face coming down, trying to prevent the layup, but that is just a hard hit. That's definitely going to be upgraded, I think, to a...
Now, DiJonai Carrington was ejected. Sophie Cunningham want all the smoke. She want all the smoke. I'm not Caitlin. Sophie Cunningham, and then she said, you stupid. Ew. And, bro. Hello. Look at this. Clothesline.
If you watch the replay, it looks exactly like an Undertaker clothesline from the WWE. Carrington didn't even seem to be looking for the ball. Her arm went straight for Sophie's neck and face area, with enough force to flip a grown woman. It was a dangerous, non-basketball move that left the announcers scrambling for words. You don't see this kind of physicality often, even in a league known for being tough. It felt personal, as if Carrington was trying to send a message to the entire Fever roster through Sophie, and the message was received loud and clear.
Hello! Look at this! Clothesline from hell! She gave her the Undertaker clothesline from hell! Oh my God. Oh my God, bruh. This has been a sight to see. Oh my God, bruh. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta show you guys John Root. Oh, John Root. Shout out to John Root, man. He got the reaction at, a commercial break. Hold on, I want to play it for you guys.
The officials didn't take long to make their decision, upgrading the foul to a flagrant 2 and sending DiJonai Carrington straight to the locker room. Ejections are rare, but when you clock someone in the face like that, there's no other choice. Carrington seemed shocked by the call, but the sideline footage tells a much deeper story than the broadcast ever could. This wasn't just about one play, it was the culmination of an agenda that many believe has been targeting the Fever's star since the season began. Carrington was out, but the fire she started was just beginning to burn.
Sophie trying to fight. She want all the smoke. Why the F would you do that to Sophie? You trying to play Sophie like she ain't from the show me state. She will show you these hands, bro. Jason Whitlock just tweeted it. He said Carrington should never play in the WNBA again. I have to agree, Jason. I have to agree with Jason. She should never. Bro, how many? Look, she has an agenda. Agenda against the Fever, y'all. This is some of the three.
Exclusive sideline footage from John Root has since gone viral, showing the raw emotion that the TV cameras missed. During the commercial break, the scene was pure mayhem. Security had to step in because Sophie was truly losing it, trying to get past her teammates to reach Carrington. You could see the sheer adrenaline and anger in her movements. She wasn't just upset about the foul, she was defending her territory and her team. This footage shows a side of the WNBA that usually stays behind closed doors, proving that the rivalries this year are reaching a dangerous fever pitch.
Carrington should never play in the WNBA again. I have to agree, Jason. I have to agree with Jason. She should never. Bro, how many? Look, she has an agenda. Agenda against the Fever, y'all. This is some of the threads and tweets from DiJonai Carrington. White privilege at Indiana Fever. That girl cold. How I dare get attacked. Look at this, bro. She has an agenda. She needs to be put out of the league. Here goes some more sideline.
Sophie's reaction has everyone talking about her reputation as the league's enforcer. She told anyone who would listen that she isn't Caitlin Clark, meaning she isn't going to just take the hits and walk away quietly. Sophie is a different breed of competitor who welcomes the smoke. When Carrington tried to treat her like a rookie, she found out very quickly that Sophie comes from a different school of thought. This hit was meant to intimidate the Fever, but instead, it seems to have awakened a beast in Cunningham that the rest of the league should probably be very worried about.
Agenda against the Fever, y'all. This is some of the threads and tweets from DiJonai Carrington. White privilege at Indiana Fever. That girl cold. How I dare get attacked. Look at this, bro. She has an agenda. She needs to be put out of the league. Here goes some more sideline footage of the incident. Look at this.
There is a growing narrative that there is a specific agenda against the Indiana Fever this year. Analysts are pointing to the way players like Carrington are targeting the team with excessive physicality that goes beyond the rules of the game. It's no secret that the Fever have become the most talked about team in the league, and with that spotlight comes a massive target. Whether it's jealousy or just old school welcome to the league tactics, the hits are getting harder and the fouls are getting more frequent. Sophie was just the one who finally decided to push back.
Bro, WNBA DiJonai Carrington revealed on Thursday their partner. Nobody care about that. Don't nobody care about that. And this is racist. No, we're not doing the race game. I just cannot believe, bro. She straight clothesline Sophie first quarter of the game, bro. She tried to bury her alive, bro. Now here go the ref.
Foul penalty. Since there's one follow through, high potential for injury, players in a vulnerable position. Since the basket was successful, Sophie Cunningham.
Jason Whitlock didn't hold back his thoughts on the situation, tweeting out that Carrington should never be allowed to play in a WNBA game again. While that might be an extreme take, it reflects the frustration of fans who feel like the league isn't doing enough to protect its players. Whitlock and others are calling out what they see as a targeted campaign to bully the Fever's roster. When a veteran like Sophie Cunningham is the one being clotheslined, it shows that nobody is safe from the aggressive tactics being used by teams who seem desperate to stop the Fever's momentum. The controversy surrounding DiJonai Carrington goes deeper than just this one game. People are digging up her past social media posts, including comments about white privilege and specific jabs at the Indiana Fever organization. It seems she has had a bone to pick with this team for a long time. When you combine those personal feelings with the high-stakes environment of the game, you get an explosive situation like the one we saw on the court. It wasn't just a random foul, it was the physical manifestation of a long-standing grudge that finally boiled over into violence. While Caitlin Clark is usually the one in the crosshairs, Sophie Cunningham stepped into the line of fire this time. It's almost as if Sophie is acting as a human shield for the younger stars, taking the hits so they don't have to. But Sophie isn't going to play the victim role. She's making it known that if you want to get to Caitlin, you have to go through her first. And that path is going to be paved with a whole lot of conflict. This big sister energy is exactly what the Fever needs to survive the gauntlet that the rest of the league is throwing at them. The security at the game had their hands full trying to keep the benches from clearing. As soon as the clothesline happened, players from both sides were on their feet, and the atmosphere turned hostile in a matter of seconds. You could see the security guards literally pulling players back and trying to create a buffer zone. It's a miracle that a full-scale brawl didn't break out right there on the hardwood. This level of animosity is something we haven't seen in the WNBA in years, and it's all centered around the intense pressure and scrutiny of this specific season. The argument for self-defense is being brought up by Sophie's supporters. They claim that when the league fails to protect you from non-basketball plays, you have no choice but to protect yourself. Sophie's aggressive response wasn't just about being mad. It was about survival. If she didn't stand up for herself after being clotheslined, it would have sent a signal to every other team that they could do the same thing without consequences. By losing it on the court, Sophie sent a clear message: you can hit me, but you better be prepared for the retaliation that's coming. Social media has been a war zone since the incident occurred. Fans are divided between those who think Carrington was just playing hard and those who think she should be suspended for the rest of the season. The footage of the hit has looped millions of times, with every angle showing just how dangerous the move actually was. The courtside fans were reportedly screaming at the refs to take control of the game before someone got seriously hurt. The energy in the building was electric, but it was the kind of electricity that usually precedes a major storm. During the commercial break, the drama didn't stop. While the refs were reviewing the play at the monitor, Sophie was pacing the sideline like a caged tiger. She was seen shouting toward the sky bench, and it wasn't exactly good game talk. She was letting them know that she was ready for whatever they wanted to bring. This wasn't just about one player, it was about the entire Chicago Sky versus the Indiana Fever. The rivalry is real, and it's getting personal. Sophie's outburst was the spark that lit the fuse for the rest of the game's intensity. Is there actually an agenda? The evidence is starting to mount. When you look at the flagrant fouls called against Fever opponents this season compared to other teams, the numbers are staggering. It's almost as if there's a bounty on the team's success. Sophie Cunningham being targeted in such a blatant way only adds fuel to the fire. People are asking why certain players seem so intent on physically punishing the Fever players. It's creating a narrative of us versus the world for Indiana, and Sophie is leading the charge as the team's most vocal and physical defender. After the ejection, Sophie had to step to the line and shoot her free throws while still visibly shaking from the adrenaline. She made one of the two, but the points were almost secondary to the psychological impact of the moment. Indiana obtained possession of the ball, but the game had fundamentally changed. The Sky were down a key player, and the Fever were playing with a chip on their shoulder that was bigger than ever. Sophie's ability to stay in the game and keep competing after such a brutal hit is a testament to her professional grit and her commitment to her team. Sophie's show me state warning is something the rest of the league should take seriously. In Missouri, they don't just talk about it, they show you. Cunningham has been showing the league for years that she is one of the toughest players on the court, but this incident took things to a whole new level. She proved that she won't be intimidated by anyone, regardless of their reputation or the narrative surrounding them. If Carrington thought she could bully Sophie out of the game, she clearly didn't do her homework on where Sophie Cunningham comes from or what she stands for. The physicality levels in the WNBA are at an all-time high, and many are questioning if it's becoming too much. While competition is great, clotheslining opponents in the face crosses a line from competitive to criminal. The league is at a crossroads where it needs to decide how much old-school physicality it's going to allow before someone's career is ended by a reckless play. Sophie losing it was a reaction to this systemic problem. She's tired of seeing her teammates and herself treated like punching bags in the name of tough defense that isn't defense at all. Carrington's white privilege tweets have resurfaced at the worst possible time for her. Critics are using those old posts to frame this hit as a racially motivated attack rather than a basketball play. While some claim we shouldn't play the race game, the reality is that these narratives are already out there and influencing how fans perceive the conflict. When you combine a brutal foul with a history of controversial statements, you create a PR nightmare for the league. Sophie's reaction was caught in the middle of this cultural firestorm, making the moment even more significant. The game also saw a weird subplot with fans and players rallying for different causes, including mentions of trans players in the league. This season has become a lightning rod for every social and political issue imaginable, and the tension on the court often reflects the tension in the stands. Sophie Cunningham's outburst happened in the middle of this chaotic environment, where every move is scrutinized for its deeper meaning. It's no longer just about basketball. It's about what these players represent to a divided audience that is watching their every move with a magnifying glass. Security struggle to keep order highlights just how high the stakes have become when a player like Carrington is ejected. There's always a fear that the departing player or her teammates will try to get one last shot in. The sideline footage showed guards positioned between the two benches for the remainder of the quarter. It's a sad state of affairs when a basketball game requires this level of policing, but that is the reality of the WNBA in its current era of explosive growth and intense personal rivalries. Sophie was the center of it all. Sophie's refusal to back down is what makes her a fan favorite in Indiana. She doesn't care about being liked by the other teams. She cares about winning and protecting her house. The hit from Carrington was meant to break her, but it only seemed to strengthen her resolve. She played the rest of the game with an intensity that was unmatched, diving for loose balls and shouting encouragement to her teammates. Sophie showed the world that you can knock her down. You can even clothesline her, but you're never going to take the fight out of her. As the league moves forward, this incident will be remembered as a turning point in the season. The WNBA needs to address the agenda against the fever before things escalate even further. Sophie Cunningham losing it wasn't just a moment of anger. It was a cry for respect and fair play in a league that is currently struggling with its own success. Whether Carrington faces further suspension or not, the message has been sent. The Indiana Fever aren't going to be bullied anymore, and if you try to take them out, you better be ready to face Sophie Cunningham and those Missouri hands.